Talk. Talk. Talk to me Tuesday. Hey there, welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday on a Tuesday. I'm your host, Madi B, and today we have a very special show. But before we get into that, there's a lot of things that's been going on, a lot of things that we stand for. This company, D. Miller and Associates, stands for a lot of things, and one of them is community service. We love to give back, and especially give back to our kids, which are our future of tomorrow. Today, our guests are representing Heroes for Children. We are so excited to be partnering up with Heroes for Children for another year again, and this will make our third year, and we are excited to be a part of the organization once again. So today we have representing Heroes for Children today is South Texas Director Julie Malin and Program Manager Meredith Segal. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much for having us today.
Yes, it's such a pleasure to have both of you guys. I know we've had you guys in the past shows. And today, it's good. The show's going to be a little bit different because we are in different times. And so I definitely want to talk about that. But, for the viewers that have never seen our show and never heard what Heroes for Children is, I kind of want to start off with you ladies kind of going into what is Heroes for Children and what it represents.
Sure, I'll give a little bit of an overview. Heroes for Children was founded over 15 years ago by two moms, our co-founders, Jenny and Larissa, that lost their daughters, unfortunately, to pediatric cancer. And as they went through that journey, they realized there were so many people around them that did not have the blanket of support they did. With that initial diagnosis, that initial jaunt of life-changing words, you have cancer. Because no one plans for that, no one saves for that, and surely no one knows how to react in the first hours. So they really wanted to be that organization that provided the breath they saw some people not able to take. We help in two ways, and I'll let Meredith talk a little bit about that, but the two ways are financial assistance and social assistance. And the idea is nobody battles alone. And now I'll let Meredith tell you a little bit about both of the ways we help.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
So we work with many of the hospitals. We have about 21 hospitals in Texas, and we're growing. We work directly with the social workers in the hospital to help patients under the age of 22, 0 to 22 is our kids who have cancer. And we help them and their families. And typically, most organizations, a lot of organizations will help with medical needs or insurance issues or those types of things or research, for cancer. But we're helping specifically these families with financial assistance. So if they need help paying rent or for transportation or food or utilities, we're there to help them. And the social workers will complete an application and give it to us to process at that time. And we also are the only organization that we know of right now that help pay for funerals. And that's within the whole country, which is very unusual. And so we are happy that we can help in this manner, but saddened, obviously, that we can help in this manner. We hate losing our kiddos, but any kind of peace of mind that we can provide to the parents, we want to do. So we do, different assistance. And then on the other side of it, we do programs for the children and their families. A lot of the times the kiddos can't be in a regular audience with other people. So they just can't go to a movie theater on any given day, or they can't go to the zoo on any given day. So what we do is we provide these social programs and opportunities for them to come together where typically no other folks are there. It's just the kids and their families, and they all are going through the same journey together. And so they get to know one another and have a day out. And so they can have a break from their, hospital visits and their, day-to-day grind, so to speak.
Wow.
And really, I will say one of the most amazing things we do is watch these connections. Whether it is a family that are together in the hospital and all of a sudden they hear about our financial assistance program, so we're able to help, or watching the siblings bond with each other at a program event. These two siblings going through watching their sister or brother battle cancer, and they have someone going through that same situation. So it's all just branching on our tree of no one battles alone. We want to make sure we cover as many bases as possible for the families.
And I love that. I know you just kind of mentioned no one battles alone. And I think it's beautiful that you are not just providing assistance, you're helping them out, even in unfortunate times like a funeral, seeing the family members interact with even other family members. And I know that has been very challenging this year. And we're going to touch a little bit about that. You ladies, and not only do we have the founders, the board of directors, but you ladies play such an important role on what you guys stand for and what that mission is. And I'm so grateful to have you ladies on the show. Now, I kind of want to kind of uncover a little bit of what you ladies do. So, Julie, I want to start off with you. Tell us a little bit about your role, your significance, and how you became involved with such an amazing program.
So it all started back when my daughter was transitioning schools and different things were going on. And I kind of liked that she was making a change. So I looked to do that for myself, and I really looked back on my life, and I was a pediatric, cardiology patient, not in oncology, but I spent a lot of the times in the hospitals watching the families and watching siblings and other people have to hear no because they were focused on the illness they were fighting. Mm-hmm. So the mission really spoke to me. So before I knew it, I was talking with Larissa and was hearing about the South Texas area, which really is Houston and Austin, with building San Antonio and small town Texas in the works. And I just loved the mission. And it really fit with where I was in my life, raising a kiddo, hoping that would never be hurt, Mm-hmm. And it just really spoke to me wanting to give back to the community that's given so much, being a born and raised Texan.
Yeah. That's awesome. And thank you for, having that kind heart too, because if not, we wouldn't be on the show and we would have never crossed paths. So I'm so thankful that you said yes once upon a time to this organization.
And it's been great. And really what I do is I get the honor of leading our charge in the South Texas area. So we just look forward to building and growing, and next time we talk, having it be 5 or 6 cities.
There we go. Wishful thinking. I love that. Now, Meredith, I want to kind of ask you that same question. What is your role, your duties, and how did you become involved in such an amazing organization?
So I have been in nonprofit for over 20 years now. And the position that I had prior to this, I was with that organization for over 13 years. I left there to find something new, similar to Julie. It was time. It was just time to try something new. Julie and I had been friends. Well, we're still friends. But we were friends prior to my coming on board. And, she had an opening and called me one day and said, hey, I need somebody temporarily to help me out. And that was a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago in June. And here I still am. So it's a very long temporary job. Very wonderful and fulfilling. And, Julie and I have a great time working together. We enjoy our staff in Dallas as well. And what I do specifically is, as the program manager, is I help put together the programs for the kiddos and their families. I also, the bigger piece of what I do is, Julie is really good at fundraising. I do a little bit, but Julie is really the bread and butter. And I get to spend the money, so-called.
Yeah.
I spend the money, right?
That's how I like it.
Exactly. It's wonderful. So basically, I work with our executive director to come up with a budget for our hospitals. We work on a quarterly basis with them. And so they get a certain amount of dollars each quarter that they can allocate to their families. Each child or each family can apply up to 4 times a year. And at about $800 per time as a maximum. Our funeral assistance is a maximum of $1,500. And so our social workers, I think I had mentioned earlier, are really our stopgap. We are a very unique organization in that we don't have a lot of red tape or hoops to jump through. So our social workers with us, because they know that we trust them and that they are our frontline workers, that they're the ones who are determining whether these families need our help or not. 65% of our families are low income. And so they have already sort of done that research for us. So when they send us an application, we don't have to do anything else except turn that around and mail a check out either to the company, Centerpoint or Toyota, or send them directly to the family so that they can utilize it in the manner that they need. And so that is really important. Our social workers appreciate that. We, are so thrilled that we can do that. So our checks are usually mailed out within about 7 to 10 days of receiving an application.
Wow.
Yeah, we're very quick, thankfully.
Yeah.
And I could say one of the best parts of our week is when those checks hit the mail, because we know that means someone's lights are staying on, someone isn't getting evicted, someone still has that car to get their child to an appointment.
Yeah.
So to us, that represents really them being able to continue their battle.
Absolutely.
I really feel, for us, and we're just so lucky to have the social workers, because we don't have to wonder. The social workers know the story. They're talking to them every day. And we don't have to feel like, well, wait, is that really what's going on? Are we sure? Did we get a copy of that bill?
Yeah.
It's an amazing partnership.
It's great. And I just want to touch on a couple other things that we do as well with the patients. And I'll be quick about this, but one thing that we do is we provide laptops. It's a Laptops for Love program for 10-year-olds to 22-year-olds. And this has been so important. We've seen such a tremendous growth in this arena this year because of COVID. Historically, those patients that have to stay home needed the laptop to connect with their friends and school. Now, in the beginning, especially with everybody needing to stay home for COVID, most of these patients who didn't have a laptop of any kind at home had applied for a laptop. So we were able to provide them with a laptop to stay connected and keep up with their schoolwork, which is so important. Another thing that we help with are milestones. So if they have a birthday, or if they have a quinceañera, or bar bat mitzvah, or any special occasion that they want to celebrate, then we will help provide the resources, the financial help for the family to then go and plan this party. And what's the other thing I'm missing?
And it's pretty special.
It's very laptop. The mom bag, not the mom bag. Bag for a hero. Sorry.
I was going to say.
Yes. So the bag for a hero. In fact, I have one over there. I should have brought it over here. The bag for a hero is for a mother or for a caretaker of the patient while they're in the hospital, and it's a goodie bag. It's basically, right now we have Bear Bradley bags that we're filling up with all sorts of fun things, and we're delivering to the moms or the caretaker at the hospital.
That's awesome. So I know you kind of went over some of your duties and even how exactly you guys are able to help these families. So Julie, is it fair to say that Meredith's temporary position is no longer temporary and it sounds pretty permanent, huh?
Yeah, we didn't tell her yet, so no. Honestly, we're an amazing team. We're happy to get the stuff done in these cities we can. And, I just look at the families and say, anything we could do, that's what we're here to do. That's what Heroes is meant to do. And she kind of makes it happen. So
that's awesome. You guys are a good dynamic duo. Yeah, in
South Yang.
Yes, I love it. So now you guys do different things for the families, right? I know you kind of mentioned, Meredith, a few things, but that is just very few things of all the things you guys do. So will you explain the type of events or programs that you guys also do to bring some of these items, awareness and love and all of that good stuff that you guys do?
Sure. Well, we have two types of events, and we'll talk about the ones for the families first. We usually get together with our families about 3 to 4 times a year. And each of the programs has a very different function, because a lot of these families start treatment potentially even the day or two after they hear their diagnosis. So one of the ones we have is a movie day, and that's morphing a little into how the movie is. But the idea is for them to have a family day, making memories, and not worrying about the cost, not worrying about having to say to a sibling, I'm sorry, you can't come, or you can't bring a friend. Really just providing a day of memories, because during this battle, anything like that you could do is a win. Mm-hmm. Then have our Valentine's Day event, and that is really about the couples. When you're battling cancer, it is very rare that you get to not talk about numbers in blood work, or your next appointment, or how you're thinking it's going, not going, the medicine. Did the doctor say it right? Did you remember it right? So what we do with Valentine's Day is give a hard stop to that. Parents go have a 3-course dinner, uninterrupted by their kiddos.
Ooh.
We throw their kids a Valentine's Day party in the other room. It is everything from the zoo coming and bringing a few of their animals, to a puppet show, to a magic show. Half the time, the kids don't even know their parents exist anymore. And so what's really great is to watch the parents get to recharge with each other and reconnect. And there are so many times we hear, you know what? If it wasn't for this, we probably would be divorced. We have a real conversation in almost a year.
Oh.
And that's hard. And it's hard when that reality can't be fixed, So we provide that with this event. And then another event we do is our Holiday Heroes event. And with our Holiday Heroes event, yes, everyone comes out of the holidays and wants to provide holidays for families. But where we put our little spin on it is we want to take care of the whole family, with the whole family in mind. So the kiddos, the siblings, the patient, they get taken care of. And then we take care of the parents in some surprise ways, whether that be a gift card some years that we do for each of the families, whatnot, because we want them to walk away knowing that they can know the holiday is taken care of. They don't have to worry about their kid looking at a tree and being disappointed. If they don't even have the tree, we provide decorations. At times, we've helped a family. We've also helped decorate hospital rooms through requests through Holiday Heroes. So we try to be a full service Santa. I think we succeed 90% of the time. But I'll let Meredith talk about the fundraising events real quick, because I do think that's a heartbeat of what we do, because it allows our communities to step in and be heroes for these patients on the other side of the
Yeah. Okay.
So our events are, speak.
Sorry, no, there's 2 fundraising events.
There are 2 fundraising events, right. So the first one will be October 8th. It is our Heroes and Handbag fundraising event. This is our 15th year, I believe, having that event. Typically, there's one in Dallas and one in Houston. And this year, on October 8th, we are going to be having it at Lakeside Country Club. We will have a auction with handbags. Most of them are luxury designer handbags that people can bid on. And of course, all of that money comes back to Heroes for Children to help with the financial assistance that we provide. Mm-hmm. We have a speaker, and then we also have, typically a family will come and tell their story. Mm-hmm. And so during that time, people are enjoying lunch. It's, typically sit down. We're really keeping our fingers crossed that it's going to be sit down again this year. If not, we have made some alternative arrangements, but we're remaining positive. So we are really excited for that. We have approximately 350 women that may come out to this. And every year we try and grow it. Last year, of course, we had it online, so it was a little bit different. This year, of course, we're hopefully going back to the gold standard and just blowing it up, because everybody is going to be ready to socialize again. The other event that we're going to have is our Hold'em event. And that event is a poker tournament that we've had for almost the same amount of years, I think.
Yeah, I think we're on year 12.
12, right. So that event typically is at a hotel. A couple of years ago, we had it at the new Post Oak. It was fun. And we had about 36 poker tables, 300 people in attendance, men and women, and they just had a great night playing poker. There were different ways of fundraising, not just, for the purchase of their ticket to come to the event, but we do a wine and liquor pull. We do an auction sometimes with them as well. and we have a raffle. And so we just, we try and mix it up a little bit.
And I will say, last year we had to pivot online, obviously. And online poker is brutal. People are vicious. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are awesome events and programs that you ladies put together and have been doing it for years, as I hear. And so there's many events that we're involved in as well. D. Miller and Associates have been involved with many events of those in the past 2 years. Love to see the families and or the interactions that we do on the back end or on the front end. So we've done a kickoff party at our law firm to kind of kick it off and try to get some of those donations. We've had a little baby that was there and his mom told his story. We also did some Halloween events. We did the Christmas event. We've been doing that every year. So it's very, very rewarding to see, our efforts also go to these families and them just having such gratitude. Like it literally warms our hearts, not just the, attorneys, but also any of our employees that are there too. So we are very much involved. You guys will see the pictures on the screen right now, how we also give back. And we kind of are a joint force here. So now these events that you guys obtain donations as well from either individuals or businesses, what exactly do those proceeds go towards? So a lot of people may want to donate money, but they just don't know exactly what part of your program it's helping or assisting. So how do you ladies make a decision on that?
Well, I will give the general answer at first. It goes to the pictures you're seeing on the screen, right? It goes directly to these families in the form of either financial assistance or having them get to be together and have those memories we talked about. It goes to a 21-year-old battling cancer getting to have a 21st birthday milestone. It goes to a mom that just heard her child had cancer 2 days ago and didn't even get to get home to get stuff, seeing a bag walk through the door that has stuff for her. For me, it is those little moments that show how far your dollar can go. Mm-hmm. Because when you think about the fact that you can be there with someone for diagnosis until unfortunately they've lost their battle, it's a pretty amazing thing to know that you've walked with that family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very hard to put a value to a memory, right? A value to the love that's behind, that. But for those of you guys that are watching and are thinking about donating, I know these ladies also, they take it a step further and they also give you itemized if you need to see what it is actually applied to, because some people do have to report that on their, financials and tax purposes. So these ladies go above and beyond, to making sure that you guys have the amount and those proceeds to reflect something that you guys can turn in. Yeah, I think that's honest. Awesome. Go ahead.
I'll tell you just one quick little story of one of our patients, just so that they know exactly the type of family. So this little girl was about 12 years old when she was diagnosed with leukemia. Her father worked at a local grocery store and her mom was working part-time. During the treatment, the father decided he couldn't handle it anymore and left the family. So the mom was now struggling on her own to try and make ends meet for this family. And it was very difficult. They were applying for Social Security on behalf of the patient and just had a really, really, really difficult time. So they applied for the full benefits of our help for bills and basic needs, because without an income, their income is $0 to $25,000. That's one of the breakdowns that we have. Mm-hmm. It was far less than $25,000 because the mom really wasn't working and the father sort of left the picture. Mm-hmm. These are the type of people on a daily basis that we are helping. Mm-hmm. And, like I said earlier, 65% of them are not, are low income. And so we really need to step in and help, especially when you've got a sudden situation where your kid is diagnosed with cancer. All of a sudden, one parent says, I can't do this anymore, I'm out, mm-hmm. and leaves it to the other parent.
Yeah. Yeah, those are sad stories. And I'm sure you have many, sadly that I say that you have many of these situations that you can tell us. And I think it's great that you guys have this program. And I think it's great there's people out there watching the show that will also, it hits home and they also want to help. So before we get into how they can help, right? I know that's one of the things. I want us to be very honest with the big elephant in the room, which is COVID. COVID has affected many of us, okay, individually, businesses, nonprofits, including your organization. This is an organization that is giving memories to children that have some form of cancer that no longer can interact because of what's happening. So this interaction that you guys once upon a time had with not just the kiddos, but the families and all of that stuff has in the last year minimized tremendously, if not nothing, right? So tell us how this has affected you directly, as well as your organization, not being able to see the kids and the families, rightfully so, because they are at risk. But how has that affected you guys as well?
Well, I could say this. I came home from a trip that was for Heroes the day before the world shut down.
Oh, goodness.
The world shut down. And what we were left with for Heroes is, how do we do this, right? How do we still support them? How do we make sure that no one still battles alone in a world where where they're telling you you can't have visitors, and it's one person with you from check-in to check-out and discharge at the hospital? How do we do that? And a lot of what we went back to were the basics that you probably did year one of the organization. You talked to the social worker, you dropped the stuff off, they got it to the families, and you knew you were doing that part. I will also say, one of the great things personally that I'm able to say as well as professionally is there was not one day, 1 week that we had to stop our financial assistance or anything we do for these families. Everyone stepped up. Yes, it looked very different. We were not in the hospitals, we were dropping off. Our movie day was a drive-in movie with no one really interacting except for with their immediate families. We were not able to have our events in a room with a family sharing a story. We were all looking at a Zoom screen. It was very, very different. And then, you go through it personally too. I'm raising a 16-year-old who had her 16th birthday party during COVID, and it was very minimal, and got her license, where you had an appointment and you literally were in and out of the DMV in 20 minutes. Who thought that would ever happen in our world?
Wow.
They couldn't. You couldn't be there longer. So when it started to be every aspect, you kind of got a bigger picture of how it affected what we did professionally for these families. I mean, a lot of them are hourly workers at restaurants and bars and different things that were heavily affected in the malls, different things. So that really affected them. And I think another part that, I would say we saw on a daily basis was just people missing that connection.
Yeah,
I think, whether we were helping with the funeral and they couldn't all be together, whether they were getting a diagnosis and really weren't even getting home. So they hadn't seen the other part of the parent. I know social workers and doctors that we talked to said, if you could picture something heartbreaking, it was happening. Parents were saying goodbye to their children on Zoom. And I could tell you that would not have happened in my world. I would have been at the hospital and you would have had to be dragging my 411 self, right? We all feel that, drive for them. So I will say it was definitely a parallel of personal and professional, but just super proud to say we never stopped grinding it. We pivoted as we needed to. We neutralized COVID, and we were able to be there for our families. And I'll let Meredith cover more of her side, because she was also talking with the social workers who probably hadn't slept in days at times.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, for the hospitals as well, what they did was they stopped all essential or all non-essential surgeries, and they, made the parents decide who was going to be able to be there with the patient. And in some cases, you couldn't have a parent there with the patient because the hospitals had really shut the doors to visitors. So again, the laptop was important in helping the connections there. But the social workers were like us. You're working from home. We worked from home for quite a while. So the social workers as well worked from home. And they sort of tag teamed it where one might be on the floor one day, and then the next day another one may have been on the floor, or they may have only been on the floor 2 days a week or what have you. So they also lost that personal touch with their own patients, which was really difficult for them because now they're trying to do everything, over the telephone or over the computer, and they're not having that one-on-one conversation that's so important. So that was one of the big pieces that changed. And they, it was devastating for them. I will say another thing that changed was a lot of our families' parents lost their jobs because of COVID. So we had about a 70%, COVID impacted our families about 70%, which is, you think 65% are already low income, and now 70% are out of work completely because of COVID. So that's another piece of it. And then one of the things that we're now sort of seeing, and this isn't the whole reason, but one of the reasons is we're starting to see an increase of deaths, unfortunately, of kids losing their battle. And so I talked to the social worker and I said, why are we suddenly seeing this increase? And one of the reasons is because people were so afraid to go to the hospital in the beginning that they chose not to go to the hospital. So now that the hospitals are becoming a little bit, looser with their rules and regulations, they're bringing their children to the hospital who are now getting diagnosed with cancer. Well, instead of being found at the beginning stage of cancer, they're now finding it at a later stage. And so it's really devastating on the families who thought they were doing the right thing by not necessarily going to the hospital right away because of COVID.
Yeah, that is so devastating. I'm glad you're bringing up these things. I think it's very important for us that are watching right now and just being a part of it to understand that. I do have a comment of someone that's watching right now. This is Kim saying, thanks for providing this important information. And I really strongly agree. This is devastating. You guys are working in this day in and day out, but for someone like us that are kind of hearing that, we are wrapped in our world and also, our businesses. So it also is great to hear how we can probably help, even though we're all going through this. And, I will say one thing that you ladies said, you guys provide laptops, but also thank goodness we have technology, because I'm sure back in the day, we never had the Zoom that we can be in the same room, but not in the same room, right? So I think that's something a little bit different, but very thankful that, the internet and the web has, grown to the level that it has. There has been a lot of effects. And I want you ladies to kind of touch on, not only did you touch about the effects that it had interaction, these families, also the disease, but you have had to be very, very creative, not just with how you could touch these children, how you could touch these families, and still allowing them to see that they're not alone. But also now these events that you guys plan day in and day out to raise money, which Julie, I agree with you. That's something to be so proud of, that you guys didn't skip a beat in a very, very tough year for a lot of people, especially financially. So how did COVID affect the traditional plans that you guys have had annually, year in and year out, either last year and even right now, where we're still not 100% back to normal in the events that you guys have planned?
It's a lot. As far as last year goes, I think the easiest thing to say is it didn't even resemble what we had thought it was going to look like, right? It kept the basics, our committee stayed the same, our speaker might be the same, but not being able to be in a room and knowing the reasons you're not in a room, and then also knowing that the patients, the families we were trying to help couldn't be in a room with anyone either, I think was something that tied us together and allowed us to become creative and pivot the way that we did. I mean, it is everything. When March 14th happened and we all got on the phone, I don't think any of us knew the next thing to do except to say, they're going to look different and we need to pivot. So we did a lot of different things. We went online, we had our summer sizzle raffle online, different ways so people could still support. And I would say that was really the tale of 2020, was how can we have it where people can still support what we're doing, but know that we're being safe for our families. And the mere fact we were able in 2020 to say we got together at a drive-in movie in a couple of our cities and made it happen for our families, the looks on their face, even from afar, was just, I'm somewhere that isn't my house. A lot of us have used the term, it's like changing the wallpaper. They really felt like, wow, I am somewhere different. And we were able to give that piece. As far as 2021, as we said, we're looking forward to hopefully being in person for our 2 fundraising events. But I'm going to let Meredith tell you a little bit about our 1800 challenge, because that's what we have going on right now.
Okay, that was my next question. What's your current program you're doing? So This is great. Awesome.
So basically, this is something going on until April 18th. The number is representative of the 1,800 kids that get diagnosed every year. But I'm going to let Meredith touch on the things we have going on with it that you guys can be involved with right here, right now. And then we'll tie it all together.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I'm not going to hold this up the whole time, but you can send you a copy. And if anybody else wants a copy of the brochure, please comment in the chat or something, and we will get it out to you. But our 1,800 challenge is something that's brand new. And we really are excited about it this year because everybody has to still be separated at this point. So people are allowed to or can join our challenge and create their own challenge. So you can say, I want to be sponsored for doing 1,800 jumping jacks. Sponsor me. And you can build your own page, which we have for you, to create this page and to create your story on the page and what you're doing. One of the things that we're doing at Houston, which we are so excited about, is on April 3rd, we have our chair people, William Papadopoulos and Jason Johnson. I always want to say Jones. I'm so sorry, Jason. And they are chairing this event. They decided they wanted to do a walk. So on April 3rd, at approximately 11 o'clock in the morning, we will be meeting at Memorial Park to walk or run, anybody's choice. And you don't have to go at 11. It's really whenever you want. But there is an 1,800 walk page for Houston. And 1,800 Walking Heroes is the name of the group. And you can join that page if you want and create your own sub-page from that page and do your own fundraising, but then join us on April 3rd and walk with us. It's great for families to get out and enjoy the weather that's been so beautiful recently. We have another walk in in Austin on April 10th. And in Dallas, they don't have a walk, but they have what's called General's Guard. Historically, they've had this bike, I don't want to call it a race, but this biking group
it's a
that has fundraisers, that has fundraised for us for several years. So now they're connecting that General's Guard to our 1,800 challenge, and they're doing it there. But we also have somebody in Dallas who's baking 1,800 cookies and selling them. So, I mean, it's really challenge yourself, come up with something creative and fun, or join one of our walks or the bike.
Yes. And to kind of, segue to our teams, we have team boards in 2 of our cities. And one of the amazing things in Houston is watching our teens come up with the ideas to help other teens battling something they can only imagine. And as you can imagine, COVID has been different for the teens too. They're at home, they're on their phones for school and iPads and computers all day long, when usually they were being told, get off of it all. So one of the things that's going to be happening in Houston, and we'll keep posted, is a dunk tank, hopefully happening with our teens, and they're trying to get their friends to come out and support and dunk them. So as you can tell, the creativity has been endless, but how the 1,800 challenge came to be with our amazing leaders in Dallas is that, you know what, let's let everyone formulate a plan for themselves right now. People have different levels of comfortability with being in groups, not being in groups. Let's let the world be their oyster. All the info's on our website, heroesforchildren.org, which I know they'll be able to get to you guys. So, I mean, we're just excited to see what people can come up with in the next month.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited. I want to kind of dive a little bit deeper on this because I think this is really important, and you ladies are onto something. So who can participate is pretty much anyone. So any of you guys that are watching this, you can participate. That's the number one key. So of course the objective, right, is to raise money to go for these families, these heroes, these children, right? Which we've been talking about the whole show. So let's just dive in a little bit deeper. So if I want to do 100 jumping jacks, I put it out there, and then I have people sponsor me. They sponsor me for doing the 100 jumping jacks, and I actually have to go do the 100 jumping jacks. So don't think you guys don't have to do it. You guys have to challenge yourself, right? So someone basically donates money for the action of you doing something like baking the cookies or doing something. Is that kind of a little bit of how this is going to work?
That is what we envision. We wanted to give a bigger format to people that want to do something, but did not necessarily have the time to come up with a challenge. That's where our walks and bikes came into play. But honestly, it could be anything. I mean, I have people that have said even they're thinking about doing certain things and they're like, well, wait, I love going to the dog park. Can I do 100 times of going to the dog park? Can I do 180 of this or that relative to their dog? The sky is the limit. There are people that are basketball teams that could do shootouts. You know, it is anything.
Wow, that's awesome. Way to really bring the creativity. Go ahead, Meredith. You were going to add something.
Yeah, I was just going to add, you know, a lot of people, especially now that spring is here, they want to start exercising. You can challenge yourself to exercise 1,800 seconds a day. That's only 30 minutes. So that's an easy challenge for people who really want to get into shape, myself included. And I wanted to also mention, because I don't think either one of us mentioned at the beginning, why do we name it the 1,800 challenge? And that is because every year in Texas, 1,800 children are diagnosed with cancer. So eventually by 2025, one of our goals is to help all 1,800 children of Texas. Therefore, we've created this 1,800 challenge.
That's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great name. This year, we are challenging ourselves to raise $180,000 for our kids and their families. And we are on pace, and hopefully we will make our target. But everybody, you know, who's listening, please help us.
And look, for those that are listening, again, I just kind of want to dive a little bit deeper. You could be an individual, you can join a team, or you can even start a team. Isn't that correct? It's either one.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You got it.
Okay. So if anyone that's watching right now is like, okay, this is so easy, how do I sign up? So ladies, guide whoever's watching right now, how can they start, participate, and get started on this team or individual?
Well, I will say you go to our website, heroesforchildren.org. It is going to be right there front and center. You'll see an amazing superhero theme to it. You'll click on register, donate, get more info. It'll take you to the page. It leads you through it. It is so seamless. People have said, you know, it literally took me 2 minutes to do all of this. You know, we're hoping this is the first of many years with this challenge. Obviously, you know, our hope is that these 1,800 families, anyone that has a need, we're able to do it. And a challenge like this and people stepping up and accepting the challenge is how we're going to get there.
Yeah. And I think it's great. I think it's awesome for those of you guys that are watching. If you guys are participating, take selfies, take videos. These ladies have social media, tag them so they could see, wow, we have a person in Dallas right now doing 1,000 push-ups. I think that would be great. I don't know. Do you ladies have a hashtag or anything like that?
I can't remember.
Well, the hashtags we've seen are kind of different depending on the teams. But what I will say, we can absolutely make sure for you that we tag you as well if you tag us.
Yes.
So the thing I would say is join a team, go onto your social, share what you're doing, like our page. We will then be able to connect with you, because the most important thing we want to do, get the word out. It's education too.
Yeah.
Let's do this together and let's see what we're doing.
And who doesn't want to support an individual on doing something they love to do, right? And how you support is by helping another family as well. So I want to see you do what you love, which is maybe doing 100 backflips. And of course, you're helping another family. I think that's genius. I think that's awesome. All the information that you guys may be seeking is in the comment section, their website, how to sign up, their social media pages. You guys have it on not only the screen, but in the comment section. So you guys go right now, like, follow everything. So that way we are set for success on this program that you ladies are starting. I think it's great. Oh my gosh.
We're excited.
Yeah.
Yes. And does this have an end date? Let me ask the big $1 million question.
Yes, as we said at the beginning, it's going through April 18th. We've chosen 18 at every part that we can in this to keep the 1,800. Obviously, we know people might contact us about doing something longer, or could I possibly do this at a different time of year because of what I do. Email us, reach out, DM us on social. all that good stuff. And we'll answer any of your questions and concerns.
Perfect. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. You guys have a good little window of opportunity to get this done and get someone to support you. So just make sure that you guys go look at their page. Now, I know this is a great program it's New Year. This may be something that you guys do every year. So this is awesome. But ladies, I will ask you, what other programs should we look forward to? I know you mentioned the poker tournament, the bags for the ladies as well. Is there anything else, either virtually or non, that you ladies have up your sleeve?
We do have something up our sleeves.
Okay.
We are, for the first time, having a zoo family day for our families in May. It's going to be COVID friendly, social distance, the whole 9 yards, keeping with every protocol you could probably imagine for safety. But our idea is, let's let these families begin to feel some normal in everything that they're doing. So we're working with the zoo and obviously local protocols to make that happen. But that's one of the main things we're really looking forward to this spring, is seeing those smiling faces again.
Yes, I know. We all do. I know I keep saying this every show, so do your part. So soon enough, we could all be together and see smiling faces and be able to hug each other. I think that's super important. Now, I know there may be some families that are watching now that are going through the same thing that you mentioned, and they can probably check every box that you ladies mentioned. So if there's any families that are watching right now or know of a family that needs assistance, how can they contact you, or who do they need to contact to see if they can get assistance from you ladies?
I would recommend 2 ways, because I know some people prefer one or the other. Definitely email is an option, and a lot of people go to our website, use the contacts, and get us that way. And then there's on the social media, either commenting or writing a private message, so that we could kind of get back with you, see where you are. The other piece I'm going to underline 1,000,000 times over, because we're going to have to send you that way. When you are diagnosed with cancer, you get assigned a social worker at the hospital. They are the front lines to connecting you with us. So you're welcome to ask us certain questions directly to see if that's even a possibility. But the social worker is going to be your best friend and advocate to connecting with us. And I'm sure Meredith would.
Yeah, no, I ditto.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The social workers know us. They know our programs. They know the needs of their patients. And so they really are the best bet to have the patients and their families go to the social workers first.
And I will ask you ladies, cancer happens everywhere for any family, right? It's not just a Texas thing. So if there is families, and I know this program does air nationwide, if there is a family that is watching now that is not in the Texas area, could they also go to their social worker and say your name, which is again, Heroes for Children? How does that work? Or is it only a certain region, certain area?
Right now we are Texas only, but I will say this, that comes with a big parentheses, right? Because there are a lot of people, because of our med centers, that come here from out of state and out of area for treatments. You are in Texas getting treatment for your cancer, you will fall under our guide. And Meredith could speak a little bit more to that if there's anything to add. But
yeah, we typically, we have helped families who live in Puerto Rico, live in North Carolina, but that is because they've come to Texas for treatment. They may have been at MD Anderson in Houston or Texas Children's, or they may have been at Children's Health in Dallas or wherever. So yes, they may have an out-of-state permanent address, but they have an in-state temporary address as they're receiving treatment from one of our Texas hospitals.
Okay, so that makes it a little bit different, right? You don't have to actually reside and live in Texas, but if you are being sent over to Texas for treatment, that is the big qualifying factor. So I think that's awesome. And again, I want to repeat the three words: Heroes for Children. Make sure you tell your social workers. They know who these ladies are, this organization that has done nothing but amazing stuff for the kids, the children, the family, all of that good stuff. So I know we're kind of coming close to the end of our show. And we have 2 more questions that are super, super important. So if someone wanted to donate or volunteer, which are very important to you ladies, to the Heroes for Children organization, what is the best way that they can do that?
2 ways again: email or go onto our social and let us know what you're interested in. We'll get you connected with the right person. And believe me, you will hear back from us pretty quickly.
Absolutely. Website does have in the upper right hand of our website, there is a donate button. So if you just wanted a straight donate, you could do that. But if you want more information about our programs, then absolutely connect with us via email or the website also.
And one of the best things on our website that I would love for your viewers to take a time to see, we have a stories part to our website now that highlights some of the things we've done over the years, whether it's 21st birthdays, weddings, whatnot. It really does highlight the spirit of heroes and what we try to do every day when we turn on the lights.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. And look, I can add a third thing. The third thing is doing the 1800 challenge.
Yes!
That's another way. So yes,
We're ready.
there's several ways that you guys can donate, volunteer, and give your time to also these families that are in need of us. So I always ask our guests that are come on the show, if you had to leave our audience with one piece of advice or even words of encouragement, what would you like to share with our viewers today?
I will take it back to one of my first experiences with heroes. You know, I had been on the job just a few days. It was around holiday time. There were wrap packages at the top of the closet. I didn't want to ask what they were because I kind of knew. They were there for a patient that passed away the year before and didn't get to open them. And one of the definite things I will say is know that you can make a difference every day. And so one thing for heroes is absolutely, we try every day to read these applications and treat it all with kindness and care. So thank y'all for being part of us being able to do that, because without you being heroes, we wouldn't be able to be heroes for the heroes that are battling. So it's 3 layers.
Oh, it's our pleasure. I think it's a great suggestion that you guys try to make a difference every day, not just during the holidays, not just for Christmas. It's every day. And I think that's super, super important. And ladies, I want to thank you guys, not only for us to join forces and being such a very strong front in an organization together, right, as D. Miller and Associates and Heroes for Children, but also I want to thank you ladies for being on the show and bringing awareness to those that are watching right now, spreading the knowledge on what you ladies do, because a lot of people may have never heard of you guys. And I think this is beautiful that you guys are able to come on this platform and educate someone that might either be going through something or just wants to help and doesn't know how. So I think it's awesome. So thank you ladies for joining the show today.
Thank you for
having us. And we look forward to hopefully a bit of a more normal 2021 working together.
Yes, exactly. Likewise. And I want to thank all of you guys for watching this show. The more you guys share, the more you guys like it, the more we educate others that are watching the show. I think it's important if you're able to just give $1 goes a long way to a family that doesn't even have that. And again, like I mentioned earlier, there is no price tag to memories. There is no price tag to the interactions that we once upon a time had. So let's join forces together here and make a difference in our kids' life that are battling their journey through cancer right now, as well as their families. So I want to thank you guys for joining in to Talk to Me Tuesday on a Tuesday. I'm your host, Madi B. Until next time.